This video is a quick peek into the Modern Brain AF that they will likely be reading at the Marlborough Tournament. So the next affirmative that we're going to talk about is the Modern Brain Iron Dome affirmative. Not going to talk about this too much or explain that much because we've talked about this in a couple of the different classes this week. So this affirmative is by Modern Brain. We'll go to the plan text. The plan text says states ought to ban lethal autonomous Iron Dome weapons. So the Iron Dome, we went into more details in class, but this is a missile defense system used by Israel. And they, in this affirmative, start with a framework that's essentially just consequentialism, util, the same thing that we've seen in all these different affirmatives. So let's get into the advantages. The first advantage that I saw when I judged this affirmative was Iran. They said that Israel is cooperating with other Gulf states such as the UAE and that they're going to sell their Iron Dome technology to these states, and that Iran is going to get really mad and lash out because they don't want the UAE and other countries to have this Iron Dome technology, and that they will retaliate with nuclear weapons, and that would cause Israeli nuclear use, and that would lead to nuclear war. This contention ends by saying that the Iron Dome doesn't really do anything except for want Israel to attack them, or want Iran to attack Israel, rather, and that any strikes on Iran would cause extinction. So basically, Israel, people say in a status quo, has an incentive to first strike Iran because they don't want them to acquire nuclear weapons, and they think that they are safe, or they perceive themselves as safe because they would be protected by this missile defense system if Iran were to retaliate against them. So this says that that's not true, and that it has limited applications and really just emboldens them, and that strike would cause extinction. The second contention that they read is a norms contention that talks about how it kind of changes warfare, and that this Iron Dome technology is kind of like the quintessential law killer robot tech that embodies all of these lethal autonomous weapons, and that we would ban all autonomous weapons if we banned the Iron Dome, and that just nuclear war between US, Russia, China, all of that type of stuff. So essentially they're just saying nuclear war because of autonomous weapons. So this is a pretty quick run through of this affirmative, but we talked about this a lot more in depth in class. We talked about some strategies against it, all of that type of stuff. So this is just a quick little run through of this AF.